Good morning, children. In the topic current electricity, today we are going to study our next topic, that is Kirchhoff's laws. This is a very important topic in current electricity. There are two laws of Kirchhoff's. These were given in 1942 by the scientist whose name is Kirchhoff. Now the first law is called as the junction rule, and the second one is called as the loop rule. So one by one we are going to study these laws. So first of all we have to see what for these laws are useful. As you know, in electrical circuits, when the current is flowing, then we use Ohm's law to find the value of current and resistance or PD. But in complicated circuits it becomes difficult to use the Ohm's law. So to analyze complex electrical circuits, the Kirchhoff's laws are used, wherein we have number of junctions and loops. There we have to use the Kirchhoff's laws. So in your syllabus you have to study the Kirchhoff's laws, the statements of Kirchhoff's law, the sign conventions used for studying them, and we have to apply them to find the current in a particular branch. So you have to solve some numericals. So it is a mathematical type of question which is asked from the Kirchhoff's law. So first let us see which is the Kirchhoff's first law. It is called as the junction rule. Now here there is one junction shown as point O. O is a junction, just like you know that in railway there is a junction where number of railway routes are coming and going. So here also incoming and outgoing currents are shown with the help of arrows. Here you can see that I1 is the current coming towards the junction O, I2 is going outward, I3 is going outward, I4 is coming towards the junction, and I5 is going outward. Now in this case, what is the total current at the junction? So now this rule is based on the law of conservation of charge. That is, at a particular junction there is no accumulation of charge. So total charge at a junction will be 0. So algebraic sum of currents at a junction is equal to 0. This is the statement of the junction rule. That is, Kirchhoff's first law is junction rule, and it states that the algebraic sum of currents at a junction is 0. Now what is algebraic currents? Algebraic sum of currents. So how to take the algebraic sum of currents? So for that we use one sign convention. In sign convention we take all incoming currents as positive and all the outgoing currents as negative. So here let us write down I1 is incoming, so it becomes I1. I2 is outgoing, so minus I2. I3 is also outgoing, so minus I3. I4 is incoming, so plus I4. I5 is outgoing, so minus I5 is equal to 0. So this is our first equation, or the equation using the first law, Kirchhoff's first law. Algebraic sum, in this way we have to take algebraic sum. What is algebraic sum? It is the sum of currents with a particular sign, positive or negative. So we call it as algebraic sum of currents. We have to take some currents as positive and some currents as negative. So we have used the sign convention that all the incoming currents are positive and all the outgoing currents are negative. So in that case I1 is incoming, so plus, and I2 is outgoing, minus. So in this way we can write the equation using the Kirchhoff's first law. Now let us study the second rule, that is called as the loop rule. The second one is called as loop rule. Now here you can see that a circuit is drawn where you can see the three resistors R1, then R2, R3, and two sources of EMF E1 and E2. Now the currents are not drawn here, so we have to draw the current from the positive terminal of the cell like this. So from E1 let us draw the current I1, from the E2 let us draw the current I2. Now here the currents are coming here, so they are meeting at this junction, and here they are going. So these two currents are suppose producing the current I, and we can write it as I is equal to I1 plus I2, because at this junction the total current is I, which is equal to the addition of I1 and I2. So I1, I2 are incoming and I is outgoing. So I is equal to I1 plus I2. In this way we can write the equation at this point. Then we have to study what is the loop rule. Loop rule states that the algebraic sum of the current and resistance is equal to algebraic sum of EMF in a closed loop. So what is the meaning of algebraic sum of current and resistance and algebraic sum of EMF? So for this, again we have to take the sign convention. We can choose any closed loop. For example, here let me name the loop as A, B, C, D, E, F and A. So the upper loop, which is like this, can be written as loop A, B, C, F, A. This is the upper loop. So let us apply the loop rule. Algebraic sum of EMF is equal to algebraic sum of product of current and resistance. So for this, we have to use the sign convention that if we are traveling in the direction of our loop, whatever loop we have taken, A, B, C, E, F, A, in this direction if we are traveling, then all the currents and resistance will be taken as positive. Product of current and resistance will be positive if our direction of movement matches with the direction of current in the circuit. So for example, current in this branch is nothing but I1 plus I2. I have taken the loop A, B, C, F, A. So I can write here I1 plus I3 into R3 is equal to, I have to take this branch also. So I have to take the addition of current in this. So this matches with the direction of the loop A, B, C, F, A. So this will be plus I2 R2 is equal to algebraic sum of product of current and resistance I into R is summation E. Now there is one source of EMF here, that is written as E2. The current through E2 and our direction are matching, they are coinciding. So we have to take it as E2, not minus E2, we will take it as plus E2. So we have written this equation for the upper loop using Kirchhoff's loop rule. In Kirchhoff's loop rule, you have to take algebraic sum of product of current and resistance, and it should be equal to the algebraic sum of EMF in that particular loop. Now let me take the second loop. The name of the second loop I must write in sequence. So that loop is F, C, D, E, F. So this is the lower loop in which I have to move. I have written FC, but the current is going from C to F. So I am going from F to C, but the current is going from C to F. Can you see this? From C to F, the direction is here. So I have to take it as minus. So minus I2 R2 in this branch. So I have gone from C to F to C. Then in this branch, I have to go for this branch. Now my direction is from from D to E. D to E. So I am going in D to E and the current is also going in the same direction. So plus I1 R1 is equal to, now there are two EMF in this. First we have to write the sum of product of current and resistance, and the right hand side we have to take the algebraic sum of EMF. Now here I am going from C to I am going from F to C, and the current is going from C to F. So I have to take the direction of E to S, plus or minus. It is opposite, so it is minus E2. And here I am going from, in this loop I am going in this direction, current through EMF, this cell also is in the same direction. So plus E1. So in this way I have written the loop rule for the two loops, for the upper loop and for the lower loop. Okay, so I think you have understood how to write the algebraic sum of product of current and resistance and take it equal to the algebraic sum of EMF. That is, I think that you have understood what is junction rule and what is loop rule. Good morning, dear students. In continuation with our chapter of current electricity, today we are going to study about a new circuit which is called as a Wheatstone bridge. You will find this name a little bit different or funny, Wheatstone bridge. Now this circuit, it gets its name from the name of the scientist Sir Charles Wheatstone. He has given a method of finding an unknown resistance if we have four resistors connected in the form of a quadrilateral, and if we want to find the value of one resistor or one unknown resistance can be found by this method called as the Wheatstone bridge method. Now in this, let us see what is this method and how we can find unknown resistance using a Wheatstone bridge circuit. So let us draw the Wheatstone bridge. Four resistors are joined in the form of one quadrilateral. These four resistors you can name as P, Q, R and X. X is the unknown resistance. Now in between these 2 points there is one galvanometer. What is a galvanometer? It is a device used to detect current in a circuit, whether the current is flowing or not. To check whether the current is flowing or not, that this device is used. In this device the pointer is at the center, and whenever the current flows, the coil deflects in the magnetic field. So either here or in this way the pointer will show you the deflection whenever the current is flowing. So in this way the galvanometer which you connect here, it will show you the deflection if there is a current flowing in the galvanometer. If there is no current flowing in the galvanometer, the pointer will be at the 0, which is at the center of the galvanometer. It has 0 at the center of that scale. The scale is like this, curved shape, and the pointer is at the center. Now these four resistors and galvanometer, they are connected with the help of one cell or a battery, which you can show like this, then key, and in this way you have to draw the circuit diagram of Wheatstone bridge. Now let us name this as A, B, C and D. You can see that between B and D points we have this galvanometer which is connected. Whenever the current is flowing in this circuit, we can show it like this. Current I is flowing here. Now when the current is coming to this point, we have studied Kirchhoff's laws yesterday, that junction rule you have to follow. So here the current, incoming current, it will divide into 2. So here the current will be I1 and the remaining current let us take here as I2. So I2 current is going here. Now the current goes to this point and here the galvanometer is there in this branch. So the current going in this branch will be Ig. Let us call that as G for galvanometer, small g. And this capital G is the resistance of the galvanometer. Just like PQRX, G is the resistance of galvanometer. When Ig current is going here, then the current in the Q resistance, what will be that current? So that is the current I1 minus G. I1 minus Ig. Because Ig is going here, I1 is coming here, remaining current will be I1, this current minus Ig. So then this current is coming up to this point. this current is going in this branch. So what is the current in the resistance X? So we have to find what is the current in resistance X. So that current will be I2, which is coming from here, and this Ig also. So I2 plus Ig. If you add them, what will you get? We will again get I1 plus I2, which will flow in this, and again that I1 plus I2 is nothing but I. So whenever you get a circuit, you have to show the branching of currents, the distribution of currents in the resistances first. Now let us use the Kirchhoff's law to derive the balanced bridge condition. Now what is a balanced bridge condition? Balanced bridge condition. This condition is a special condition, P upon Q is equal to R upon X. When we get this condition, we say that the bridge is balanced. Now this is called as a bridge. Wheatstone is the name of scientist, and this is a bridge. Now bridge means, just like here you have to imagine that these 2 points B and D, if they are at the same potential, if they are balanced, if there is no potential difference at these 2 points, whatever is the potential at this point, same potential exists in this point. So what will happen? If the 2 points are at same potential, then what will happen to the current? No current will flow in that branch. One has to be at higher potential and other has to be at the lower potential. So when the bridge is balanced, the potential at points B and D, it becomes equal. It is a special condition which is decided by the combination of values of resistance in the circuit. Now let us see applying Kirchhoff's law. So Kirchhoff's का first law क्या था? That you already knowing. That is the junction rule that we have applied, and we have written all the currents. Now think about the loop rule. We apply the loop A, B, D and A. So this is that loop. Let us go from A, B, D, A. When we are going in the direction, if the current is also in the same direction, we take it as positive. So let us write the equation using Kirchhoff's law for this loop. If we use this loop, what is the value of, what is the equation? Let us write that. So that is now I1 into P. This is the current. We are also going in the same direction. Then we are going here also. So plus Ig into G, where Ig is current and G is the resistance. Now we are going from D to A, D to A. But the current is going from A to D. So we take minus I2 into R. And since in this there is no source of EMF, in this particular loop there is no source of EMF. So we write it as 0. Okay, so this is our equation 1. Now we apply the same type of loop rule, Kirchhoff's loop rule, to the second loop. What is our second loop? Let us take it as B, C, D and B. B, C, D, B. So let us apply it here. We are going in the same direction as current. So it becomes I1 minus Ig into Q. Then I am going here, but the current is going from C to D. I am going from C to D. Current is going from D to C. So I have to take it as minus I2 plus Ig into X. And I am going here B, C, D, B. But the current is opposite. So I take it as minus Ig into G is equal to 0. Now you can see these two equations. We have called this as 1 and this as 2. Now in these two equations, we have to use the balanced bridge condition. What will happen when the bridge is balanced? When the bridge is balanced, no current flows in this branch. So it is as if this resistance becomes 0. It is as if it is not existing because the points are at the same potential. No current is flowing in this branch. So this resistance of galvanometer gets cancelled. It becomes 0. So Ig we have to put 0 here. So this becomes 0. Again, so in the balance bridge condition, what we have to do? We have to put Ig equal to 0. So this is 0. Then wherever Ig is there, you have to go on putting 0. So let us write the equation by putting Ig is equal to 0. So we get I1 into P, this is becoming 0, is equal to, we take it to the other side, so I2 into R. Now for this, I1 into Q, because this is I1 minus Ig into Q. So Ig is 0, so I1 into Q. And this is becoming 0, this is completely 0, and this is Ig is 0, so is equal to I2 into X. Now I am getting this as equation 3, this is equation 4. If I take their ratio, I1, I2 will get cancelled. So I get the formula P upon Q is equal to R upon X. This is a very important condition which is asked in the board exam for solving some simple numericals, or even if the numerical looks a bit difficult, it will become simple if this part of the circuit is not existing. If you take this part as 0, then these two resistors come in series, these two come in series, and then you can find the total resistance of the circuit. Now using this formula, unknown resistance X is found. How to find the unknown resistance X? Take cross multiplication. So you will get X is equal to R into Q upon P. So that you can get the unknown resistance by this formula. If other three resistors are known, naturally using this formula, this is the balance bridge condition. Using that you can find the unknown resistance. So I hope this topic, which is a very interesting one, is clear to you. If any difficulty is there, please ask me.